Good morning. I'm Charles Osgood, and this is Sunday Morning. Not every woman can wear the impossibly proportioned clothes you often see models wearing on the runway. That's where a designer who's fit for fashion comes in. Our Tracy Smith has visited him.
The designer behind these pricey clothes, Elie Tahari, arrived in this country flat broke.
I didn't have a place to sleep, and I was homeless.
But he says the hard knocks he took on his way to the top actually helped him get there.
You know, they say even a kick in the back is good when you're facing the right direction.
It's a fairy tale, after a fashion, about a man named Elie, later on Sunday Morning.
These clothes are fit for fashion. Created by Elie Tahari, one of the featured designers at New York's Fashion Week, which ended Thursday. Tahari has come a very long way in his career, in more ways than one, as Tracy Smith now shows us.
In the white-hot glare of the fashion world, some of the names on the labels are famous in their own right. Witness Diane von Furstenberg, Donna Karan, Elie Tahari. The Tahari name is well known, the face behind it, not so much.
When you first heard the name Elie Tahari and you saw it on your label, who did you picture?
I did not picture Elie.
I pictured a woman, first of all. Really, a woman?
Elie.
Of the millions who have Elie Tahari hanging in their closets, few probably know that Elie is a he.
I was coming down the elevator with somebody that I noticed she bought some of Elie Tahari clothes, and I said, I see you bought some Elie Tahari. She said, oh, I love her design.
Her design.
Her design.
His clothes are sold in more than 600 stores in the U.S. and worn by people with slightly more famous faces like Beyonce, Elizabeth Hurley, and Angelina Jolie. It's all designed in a starkly beautiful studio in Manhattan.
It's bright in here, Elie.
Yeah, it's bright, and we made sure that everybody will see a daylight from everywhere.
You can't hide anything in here.
No, you can't hide anything.
The samples are sewn together a few feet from the design tables. Beyond pure style, the thing that matters most around here is fit.
It fits her well, too.
The initial samples are made for tall, skinny runway models like her.
It's easy to fit them on the runway models.
Not so easy to fit it on the real woman.
On the real woman, it's very nice.
So, the clothes that will eventually be shipped out to a store near you, like the little pink number here, are fit on members of Tahari's office staff. Actual people with actual hips.
That's fit her a little better.
Tahari's formula seems to be working. Sales of Tahari merchandise are put at around $100 million a year. And that's even more impressive when you know just how little Elie Tahari started out with. Born in Jerusalem in 1952, Elie Tahari spent much of his childhood in an orphanage after his parents divorced. When he came of age, he served in the Israeli Air Force as a mechanic. And after his discharge, Tahari went to New York City, flush with ambition and little else. Back in the summer of 1971, with almost no money to his name and nowhere else to go, Elie Tahari would sleep in Central Park.
Did you sleep well?
I remember sleeping well. I didn't think I didn't have a place to sleep, and I was homeless. I thought I was camping. I'm camping in New York.
You're camping in New York.
Yes.
It's a good way to look at it. It's an adventure.
That's how it felt. That's right. It's an adventure.
Tahari eventually found work changing light bulbs in New York's garment district by day and selling women's clothing at night.
And that was a way of not just making money, but meeting women. That was a very exciting job. I loved that job.
It was all about getting the girl?
All about meeting the girls, right.
It was also about learning what women in the disco era wanted to wear. Tahari's first big hit in the fashion business was a sleeveless shirt called the tube top.
We were selling them for at retail for $4. And I remember women come in and buying it by the dozen they used to buy them.
Before long, Tahari had his own store and eventually graduated to a collection of women's business clothing, big padded shoulders and all. Elie Tahari never had any formal fashion training, but he always seemed to know just what women wanted to wear, and they beat a path to his door.
Frankly, I had no other choice. I had to succeed. Failure, that means I'll have to be homeless again.
After 2 decades of steady growth, Tahari was a major player. By September of 2001, the man who once slept on a bench in Central Park now had a big office in Midtown Manhattan in a landmark building that he owned. In the days after the terrorist attacks of 9/11, when New York was awash with red, white, and blue, Elie Tahari wanted to make a statement of his own about his adopted country.
We owned a building on Fifth Avenue, and I decided I'm just going to put a flag on it. So we started first a small flag, and then the whole building became a flag.
It's 150 feet long by 52 wide.
Or to put it another way, wide enough to wrap the 5-story building in.
It was something that I had in me that I had to express.
In the decades since, Tahari has had his challenges. His 10-year marriage to former journalist Rory Green dissolved last year.
How are you holding up? How do you get through that?
It's tough, but every day is getting better. And you go through whatever you gotta go through.
The business, however, has flourished. Tahari puts the value of his company at around $500 million. The very benches where he'd hunker down each night are just across the street from the ultra-pricey high-rise where he now lives.
You literally went from rags to riches.
I don't walk around and feel I'm very successful, no. I feel I did well. Financially, I am doing well. I'm comfortable. But life is a lot more in store for me.
He may never be the most famous designer in the world. He says he'd rather let his clothes do the talking. But Elie Tahari's life story says it all.
Do you have advice to people out there who look at your story and say, how did he do it?
I would say everything you do, make sure you love it, do it with love.
It's all about love for you,
It's
Elie.
all about love.